Hello and welcome to our session, Reflections on Trauma, Changes in Self-Care as a Lens Toward the Support of Others. We thank the Culture of Care Summit Council for giving us the opportunity to share today. The Culture of Care at the University of Arizona Global Campus is based on 5 pillars: communicate, advocate, respect, empower, and student-centered. Before we begin, please take a moment to read this slide. While the focus of this presentation is self-care strategies, we understand that hearing about trauma, even a little, can be difficult. We encourage you to prioritize your well-being and step away if needed. My name is Alexa Dunn, and joining me today are 3 wonderful women who will share their experience and expertise. Our goal today is, at its core, to help you know that you are not alone. We hope to do this by discussing Sabrina's and my self-care journeys, linking self-care to serving others, and sharing resources that anyone can explore. To help calibrate our discussion, these definitions from Merriam-Webster.com explain the terms trauma and self-care. We want to note that injury can be physical, emotional, or cognitive, and trauma can be one extreme event, multiple ongoing smaller events, or anything in between. And self-care is taking care of yourself. While parts of our journeys can seem dark and never-ending, there are also light and bright parts. Where I am today, I proactively work on 3 areas related to my self-care. The first is boundaries, including for myself. These are important because otherwise others will not know where my boundaries are if I don't stick to them myself. Or I might run myself ragged trying to give everything ahead of time to avoid negative reactions or kickback when it's unrealistic to do that. I'm trying to focus on my physical health. I was ill for a year, starting in June 2022, and my health went south very fast. I'm slowly getting back to myself, and these are some of the ways my health pursuit is going so far. I'm reframing my negatives. I'm lucky to be able to exercise. Food is not good or bad. Everything's a choice with an outcome. 5 minutes is better than 0. And I'm giving myself grace. When I first heard this term, what does it even mean, was my first reaction. To me, it means, what would I say to someone else in the same situation? And saying that to myself.
Self-care requires conscious effort towards taking care of yourself to improve your mental, emotional, and social well-being. Finding self-care methods that work for you takes time and patience as everyone is different. Some practices I found in my journey to be most beneficial for me that I'd like to touch on are being creative and expressive and changing the narrative of how I speak to myself in those situations. Creativity allows me to express myself and to surround myself with things I enjoy, like creating lists to help me feel more accomplished and decorating my space to cater to what I enjoy. Changing the narrative of how I speak to myself is something I work on regularly as I learn more about emotional intelligence. Even just asking myself comprehensive questions like, how does this make me feel, really changes how I perceive and process those situations. It allows me the space I need to process and validate my feelings. As I mentioned, self-care is a process, and to start that process of healing from trauma and practicing self-care, there are some strategies to get you started.
My journey started about a year after a car accident when post-traumatic stress disorder from the accident was compounded by a lot of unaddressed issues from childhood abuse, trauma, the anxiety, depression, and suicidal ideation that stemmed from those that I'd never resolved. I was not in a place to do anything more than get through each day, so I took baby steps, literally and figuratively. They did include counseling and medication under medical supervision. I focused on surviving, whereas right now I'm focused on growing. At the very beginning, I did start journaling, and I was asked by my counselor to do 3 things that were positive every day. Some days I couldn't even do one, or one was hard to find, but that's okay because that was a baby step. And it's a journey, and it all starts with one step.
We all start somewhere. Starting the self-care journey really is the hardest part, as it requires you to acknowledge your trauma. For me, my self-care journey seemed to start last year when I became a single parent. I had childhood trauma in the past, but it was this particular event for me that really culminated all of my previous trauma into a singular event. It was at this point, becoming a single parent, that I slowly moved towards acceptance that I needed help to be a better person for myself, to improve my emotional and mental well-being, as well as being a better mother to my children. And in that process, I received a lot of help from family and friends. Even sharing a conversation with someone that cares about you goes a long way in the healing process. Everyone's trauma is different, and so are their needs. Naturally, would be different. Setting small, obtainable goals for yourself and maybe getting outside or drinking more water to have proven to be beneficial in giving you those small dosages of self-care without putting in too much effort. Do not overthink the process. The healing process and self-care journey does not need to be done alone. The phrase, "it takes a village," whether it's family, friends, or medical professionals, is relevant. And here we have a list of some strategies that one or both of us have used over the course of our journeys. There is no one size fits all. Even if something works for you now, it may not work in a couple of years, and vice versa. As your journey changes, as your life changes, the needs that you have also change. We also recognize that not all things are available to all of us at all times. Don't expect instant results, as there is no magic fix. Think of the journey as a thumbprint. No journey is the same, just as all thumbprints are unique to each individual.
So there are a lot of ways that self-care can be leveraged in serving others. If I recognize myself as human, it opened up even more space for me to see that everyone else is also human, perfectly imperfect, with needs, desires, hopes, fears. They might be having a bad day, they might be unwell. It really helped to just grow that knowledge for myself, that understanding of we all come to the table with different things. Modeling behaviors. I learned from others some of the strategies that I do and use in professional and other settings. If that's the case, others can learn from me. If I'm having a rough day, I'll tell people. I will say so that they know that my nonverbal cues are likely not related to the discussion at hand. I will prep certain meetings with, this might be a tough topic. Let's remember we are here to face it together. And at the end, we won't agree on everything, but we will have a way forwards together. By setting it up this way, we're able to find a compromise at the end of the meeting. It really can set a positive tone. In giving people permission to implement self-care, there's been a lot of change over the years, the last 10, 15, especially around mental health and understanding it. But I think there's still a lot of concern at work to admit things. I suffer from anxiety, and that can be a negative. It can also be a superpower, because when I work on things, I'm over here, overthinking, over researching, over preparing, and generally doing as much as I can ahead of time. By being open and honest about my struggles, it does allow others to be the same with me.
We're all human. Recognizing in humans that are not perfect, but we are flawed, yet trying to do better, is when you see within yourself and understand the journey to get to that point, you recognize the inherent humanity in others. You relate to others as you recognize their struggles and emotions. The key phrase, seeing someone as the loudest way to love them, is immeasurable. You are recognizing who that person is because you see who you are and what you've been through, and you're acknowledging that in other people. Acknowledging people for who they are and where they've been validates their struggles, and in doing so, you're building confidence, recognition, and understanding of others. You can be imperfectly helpful, meaning you may not know how to perfectly help someone, but just in taking the time with them, you can be giving them the validation that they need in their struggles.
Hello, my name is Leah Belsley. I'm here representing the Office of Student Access and Wellness. We are here to support programs, policies, and procedures relating to student disability services, student health and wellness promotion, student care, case management services, and support services for military and veterans both with and without disabilities. Our services can connect students to academic accommodations that will support their learning when disability or health-related impacts lead to barriers in the classroom. And some of the common accommodations that we do provide to students are extended time to submit assignments or alternate assignments, just to name a few examples. We also have our Helpline Student Advocates, and they support students who are struggling with suicidal thoughts, impacted by the loss of a loved one, domestic or interpersonal violence, homelessness, or another hardship. Students who have started their first course at UAGC or who have been out of attendance for less than 1 year can be referred to the helpline team for brief interpersonal counseling, academic advocacy, and appropriate community resources based on the student's need and resources availability. For UAGC employees, we have free short-term counseling available to benefits eligible employees and members of their household through ComPsych.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Nicole Villarreal, and I'm a student affairs student advocate. I want to take a moment to emphasize the crucial significance of mental health resources in our communities. Mental health is an integral aspect of our overall well-being, influencing how we think, feel, and behave in our daily lives. Just as we prioritize physical health, it is equally essential to prioritize our mental health. However, despite its significance, mental health often remains overlooked or stigmatized. Access to adequate mental health resources is paramount for several reasons. Promoting wellness, as it can provide a safe space for individuals to express their feelings, learn coping mechanisms, and develop strategies to navigate life's challenges effectively. Preventing crises. Through preventative measures such as counseling, therapy, and educational programs that equip individuals with the tools to manage stress, anxiety, depression, and other mental health issues before they escalate. Reducing stigma by creating a supportive environment where individuals feel comfortable seeking help that can break down barriers and encourage more people to prioritize their mental well-being without fear of judgment. Improving productivity and relationships by enabling individuals to address challenges that may hinder their productivity and maintain healthy relationships with others. And lastly, enhancing overall quality of life. Through investing in mental health services, we invest in the well-being and resilience of our society as a whole. The importance of mental health resources cannot be overstated. It is incumbent upon us to advocate for greater access to these resources, destigmatize discussions surrounding mental health, and prioritize our own well-being along with that of others. Let us continue to work together to ensure that everyone has the support they need to thrive mentally, emotionally, and physically. As part of this presentation, please make sure to view the trauma resource list that is available as a downloadable document. Thank you.
On behalf of my co-presenters, I want to thank you all for joining us. Be sure to check out the 2 downloadable resources available with our session, the self-care options for anyone and trauma resource list. Take care of yourself as you would care for others. You're worth it. Thank you.